we'll pay thousands of dollars to go to football games, to restaurants, to all these different places, but we won't spend money to find what makes us look like the best representation of ourselves to other people, which gives you, if you're going to job interviews or you're meeting new people, whatever, like you're immediately going to be attractive to potential employers, business partners, opposite sex, whatever it might be, I would normally think that this was totally vain and stupid to do, to spend a lot of money on the clothes, on a shirt, or on whatever it might be. But one of the things that I realized, partially through Warrior, partially through just the reality of how things are, I always look back to my old photos, man. I always look back to my old videos now from like 2 years ago, and even from like when you met me, dude. I was so shabby and just like looking. Like I would want people's respect, but I didn't look respectable, like literally like respectable. And so I was doing, over the last like year and a half, 2 years, started working out, getting fit, being more serious with investing in myself, which I never always felt it was like super selfish to do. And I got this, every month I go down to King's Council to do that business kind of meeting with them. And one of the concepts always is this, the king eats first. That you are like your number one asset. Like if you go away, everything else goes away, right? So I had this thought in my head that if that's true, why don't I go? I have no fashion sense whatsoever. Why don't I just go pay basically a fashion consultant to help me find the look that suits me best with my body type and my personality and everything like that. So I usually go to Nordstrom's Rack, discounted type place. I actually went to Nordstrom's. I didn't realize how expensive they are, which is nothing actually when you think about, if you go to like South Coast Plaza down south, and you have like Giorgio Armani, you have all these places where like you can buy $1,000 t-shirt or $2,000 t-shirt, it's crazy. And so I was like, you know what, they have people there who will literally walk you through what they think your style should be. Like fashionistas. The fashionistas there. And I get there, and I go straight to kind of like the suit area, because that's what I was kind of thinking was going to be my style, was more of like suits or like kind of higher upper class type thing, like looking, I guess. I don't know. That when I think of fashion, that's what I immediately go toward, And I get to the guy. He's an older gentleman, and he's like, "Oh well, I don't." It's like, "You're kind of style. I don't think I'm the right person for you." And so he brings me all the way across the store to this one lady. I forgot her name, but she is she had been working there for like 20 years. Persian lady, and she like looks at me. She's all, "Yeah, I got this. We're good. Okay. Take this. Go try this on, and over here takes me to the dressing room. Try this shirt on with this shirt. Try this one on with this one. Try this." And I get in there, and she put everything on. I'm like, "Okay, lady, whatever." Put everything on. I'm looking at the price tag. I'm like, $100 t-shirt. Like the pants were like $400. I'm like, "Oh crap. Oh, okay." And so I try on my first thing. Try on my first like pair of, like my first ensemble or whatever. And she comes out and she's like, "Nah, oh, okay, no. All right. We're gonna change this with this." And it went from like this more like fancy to much more of like looking good but casual. And yes, she ended up getting me I ended up getting a suit, ended up getting like something that was a little bit more business casual, and then something that was more like this, different outfits. And then she gave me the names of all of the things, so now I could go to Nordstrom's Rack when they go on sale, get the different designers that fit my body type and everything like that. So in all, it was a few $1,000s, but it was literally like she totally changed the way I viewed myself, totally changed the way I viewed how I could look on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, like maybe going to church or different places like that, and then also on the like going to higher end things. Like I've been invited to yacht parties and to places like Internet Marketing Party down in San Diego and all these different spots. And so being comfortable, like literally knowing that I'm as best dressed and best representation of myself at places like that gives me so much confidence to, like when I walked in here, you see how confident I am. I'm talking with everyone and talking with whomever, new people who just come up and talk and everything like that. And part of that is just because I know that I look the part. I'm from the fitness standpoint, and also from like dressing well and everything like that, and so getting all back to that, the reason why I even bring this up is that we'll pay thousands of dollars to go to football games, to restaurants, to all these different places, but we won't spend money to find what makes us look like the best representation of ourselves to other people, which gives you, if you're going to job interviews or you're meeting new people, whatever, like you're immediately going to be attractive to potential employers, business partners, opposite sex, whatever it might be, and I used to think that it was a waste of time to even worry about stuff like this, and now I'm like, oh my gosh, what an asset if you can find that look about you and keep it up, so.
That's funny. Okay, so I'll keep going on that.
Yeah, no, to say it.
There was a meeting with Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Or it was like an interview, and they asked him, you wear the same shirt quite often. And he's like, oh yeah, I wear the same shirts because there's so many decisions I have to make every day.
Yeah.
That I don't want to have to think about what I'm going to wear the next day, so I just buy the same shirt.
Yeah.
Later it came out that was not even true. He was like, oh, I just said that because I didn't know what else to say.
Sounds genius though.
Yeah, right? And so Alex Hermosi, he was like, oh, I did that same thing. I just started wearing the same clothes because he said it. And then it came out that it wasn't even true. He's like, so I was just doing this thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't even help my productivity.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's so funny.
Yeah, that's good. You look good though.
Well, thanks. And it's cool because like it's so crazy because I can relax like this. And like I have I don't even know how to say it. I've never heard anybody really talk about this type of before, but like this is how I can pay attention to you right now and not be self-conscious about everybody else around me, because I know I'm well dressed. I'm not thinking like, oh, does he or she like think I look like a nerd or whatever. Like I know I'm as best dressed as possible for myself, that if they don't like me, they're just not going to like me no matter what. And so I can focus on you, keep eye contact, all that other stuff. If I wasn't, or if I was like, if I wasn't fit enough to wear something like this, and like maybe I was too chubby and like my like little man boobs were like flopping out or something like that, I'd be self-conscious. I'd be like, whatever it might be. But because of this investment in myself, this is how I can be.
So you've gotten more comfortable with $100 t-shirts and...
Well, it's not that actually. It's more of paying, because I didn't pay for a $100 t-shirt. I paid for the stylist to help myself. Because I'd rather them teach me how to fish, and then I can go to another place and be like, hey, these are I normally wear Robert Barraquette, I usually wear Theory, I wear Lucky Brand, I wear and so then they know kind of like what my style is. I can go to other places like that, So.
That's good.
Yeah.
Teach you how to fish.
Yeah. And so I didn't really pay for this. Like, this is not a $100 t-shirt. This is part of the consulting that I got. I mean, how many times, maybe, I don't know if you have, but I go to masterminds and where I'm paying thousands of dollars, and what do? They'll give you like a little packet with like the talks that are happening. They'll give you like a little notebook and a pen, right? All of that probably costs like under $100, and you paid $5,000 for it, for the mastermind or the whatever conference you're in. Yet here I pay, let's say this was $2,000. I don't remember how much it was, maybe it's $2,000, $3,000. I paid $3,000 to have someone go through and show me what looks best on me, so I could give the best representation of myself to everybody. And I got like tons of outfits for it. Plus I know the brand, so I can go and do it myself. I got way more than I would ever get at like a mastermind, and I look good.
One less thing to think about.
Mm-hmm.
You're confident.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty cool. Like, I wish I would have known that a long time ago. Seriously. But also at that time I was Pillsbury Doughboy, so with neck beard and all other stuff before, so I wasn't gonna really do anything anyway.
So now that you're not the Pillsbury Doughboy, are you still on your fitness journey and trying to shred? What's your goal?
Yeah, I'm bulking right now. Yeah.
It's winter season.
Yeah. I was crazy.
So you're lifting heavier.
I'm lifting much heavier. I'm doing this. It's funny. I never ever liked weightlifting at all. The only time I was ever weightlifting. So in about 2002, I went into 2001. I went into the military. 2002 was the first time I had ever weightlifted at all. I was like, I was fit because of just boot camp and everything like that. 2002 is the first time I ever weightlifted. My buddy took me we did legs. He was doing legs, so we were doing like the squat press machine or whatever. I could barely do any of it. And I just remember the next day, I could barely walk. And I was probably only lifting like 85 pounds or something like that, or something like nuts. I could barely walk. And I was like, I hate this. This sucks. I'd rather just run, do push-ups, things like that. And I could never get past, like, the most I've ever been able to even bench press was 225, and that was like when I was trying later on when I got deployed to Camp Arifjan, and that was like PR. That was like 1. I just never liked going to the gym and it's just so redundant and boring, and it just didn't make. I'd rather do jiu-jitsu. I'd rather feel like I'm getting to something. And I don't know when the switch flipped recently, like in the last few months or whatever. After doing jiu-jitsu, and I started losing that ton of weight, like something clicked where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start going to the gym. And I'm lifting heavier than when I was 28 years old, man. I'm 42 now. I could not believe I'm lifting, like, for reps, 225. And So I'm like on this kick now where I'm just like watching fitness videos like all the time on Instagram and everything, and one of the things I didn't realize was bulking, like that I should be lifting heavy and bulking, and then over time then cut. And I think what I used to want to do, like before all this, was just get shredded, you know, and that would make it to where I wasn't really gaining any muscle or anything like that. So anyway,
So there's different phases.
yeah, like being okay with that. It's actually interesting because part of me is like, when I start seeing like little like chunks coming back and stuff, I'm like, crap, dude, this feels weird. And I do get a little subconscious, but then there's a big difference. One of the biggest differences that I see is that when I was chubby, people knew, like, there was no respect at all. And this is the first time I've actually ever noticed it in my life, actually. Even when I was fit, even when I was out of the military and I was fit and stuff. I tell Marissa this, tell my wife this, and she kind of like doesn't quite understand or doesn't care, or like, not in a bad way, but she just thinks it's funny. And maybe you can relate because you're fit, but I just never noticed this at all. I think it's also because of how I dress with it, but there was this point where it didn't happen during jiu-jitsu. It didn't happen when I was cutting weight from like 215 down to 180. It didn't happen during that time. What I noticed, I can't tell, I'm hesitant to even say this, but okay, what I noticed, there was literally a flip of a switch where guys started putting their head down or calling me sir, or just being different, like acting different. And then obviously the opposite sex was there as well, where there would be more sustained eye contact, where they would put their head down or whatever. And this is all like human psychology type stuff. And it was this, the reason it affected me so much is because I've always had like an imposter syndrome type feel. Like I could never be, like I'm always striving to be like better. Like I literally would do things to include Pro Sulum, to include everything, because out of like fear that I've like every little, it's kind of like with jiu-jitsu. When you get a position, you want to keep it, right? You don't want to lose it. So if you've got side control or mount, you want to keep it, so you don't necessarily want to go for a submission or whatever right away. You make sure you're controlling that position. That's how I felt like with everything that I was doing. Like I had to control where I was, or else I'm gonna lose everything. And that permeated, especially when I was chubby, permeated everything. And because I didn't care about how I looked or dressed or whatever, permeated everything, and people could feel that. And now it's different because I don't have that feeling anymore. And I think, I don't know if what came first, the chicken or the egg, but as soon as I started, so I'd be at the gym and I have a routine where I come in clothes like this, and I go and change. Even if I'm going straight to the gym, I'll come in clothes like this because I'm so forgetful. I'll like forget my belt or I'll forget something, so I'm going to come totally dressed, go to the gym, change into my gym clothes, then go. And I noticed that there would be times, like say a guy that was coming out of the locker room, like the hallway. So I'm coming this way, he's coming this way, and he turns, and immediately he's like, he sees me and he'd be like, and if you know like any little human psychology, that's like very submissive type thing to do. And it would happen over and over and over again. And then I noticed with the guys who were bigger than me, a lot of them are my friends now, the guys who were like bigger than me or same, there was more of just kind of like respect. Like was really interesting feeling. And it was at like that moment I was like addicted to continuing just doing what I'm doing. Not because I'm trying to make people submissive to me or anything like that, but I'm like, oh my gosh, I can be that guy. I can be like that. That's cool. Like this old Dean of constantly feeling like I'm not enough completely changed to, well, this is who I am. I'm crushing it. Good luck like finding anybody else who's doing as well as I am, who looks as good as I am, or whatever, whether we're friends, whether it's my wife, whether it's whomever. This is who I am, take it or leave it. And it's even with clients. Like you know me, I fire clients all the time, and I've even gotten more aggressive with that, with firing clients. Not in like a you son of a bitch, but in like, look, if you're gonna be a problem, you're gone, done. That's with the whole bodybuilding journey and everything like that. That's why it's happening. It's like getting that constant like positive feedback.
And that's part of the core four.
Yeah. Being fit. Yeah. So it's actually it comprises two, which I never realized. Two parts of the Wake Up Warrior Core 4. One is body, like having your body as a weapon, being fit and everything. But it's actually being too. Like if you're like literally being who God made you to be and being like the best, like creating a body that's amazing and like being confident, then I think that plays a huge role in your success as time goes on, like in your success in general. But I don't think you can have what I'm talking about. I don't think you can have what I just explained, what happens at the gym, like today I go to the public restroom over here in Clovis, downtown Clovis, and a guy walks out. He's a heavier set, older guy than me, probably 50 or whatever, and I say good morning. He says, so I say good morning, and then he says, oh, good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. Like, I get so many more sirs that I'm like, I've never been called sir before, ever. And this is from a grown man. This is from like a 50-year-old. And it wasn't out of like, you can feel the difference between like, oh, yes, sir, oh, huh, yeah, like it's kind of like sir as in like, that's just what you say. Like at the gym and stuff like that, and it's like, oh yes, yes sir, type thing. This is like out of respect.
It's not just a bro.
No, it's weird. It's crazy how that's changed. And I'm not gonna lie, I love it. It tells me that I'm doing the right thing. It tells me that I'm like becoming respectable. I don't know when men lost. I know I did. I lost like I don't even think I was taught to, even in the military, taught how to be respectable, like literally like respectable.